you guys doing? I hope you're doing wonderful today. So much to talk about. I hope you enjoyed that last video that I put up. I really loved my little fatal attraction snippet that I put in there. I thought it was so appropriate for the message that I was trying to convey. No one likes to be ignored. I know I don't. And I hope you don't feel like I've ignored you. And if you do, let me know. Remind me to address maybe a question you may have sent me in an email. I'm trying to get through them, but it can be a little scatty sometimes in my email inbox. So thanks to everyone who's reached out to me. I want to try to get to everyone who reaches out to me. And if I've missed your email, please resend it, re-forward it to me, and I'll be sure to answer. Harry is taking a swipe at the Queen for removing his military titles. These are one of those things where the Queen just kind of gives you a little small mini smackdown, because you know how Harry was trying to be a little out of control with the things and the decisions and choices that he was making. The Queen kind of had to check that. And that's what she did by taking away those titles. And it's good for him. You know, sometimes our smackdowns are good for us. And this is something that Harry just is going to have to get used to, because he's trying to go off on a different path now. He's trying to go off on a path with his wife. And they're trying to be adult-like in their adult-like britches. So they're going to have to suffer consequences and get smackdowns when they are behaving badly, because they're not the decision makers in everything that they want to do. Not while the Queen is still around. So he needs to understand that's just what it's going to be. He wrote this really heartfelt letter about his dismay at no longer being able to help out the veterans after being stripped of his military titles. Now, when he had stepped away from his duties, he lost both his patronages and his honorary titles that the Queen had given to him. Now, during his interview that he had with Oprah, he mentioned that he was hurt by what his grandmama did to him by stripping him of these things, and that he said he can respect her decision. So this is where you just have to step up, Mr. Harry Windsor, and respect the decision and understand that you just don't get everything you want, especially when you're trying to make grown-like decisions. He did write some emotional letter to the family of a decorated soldier named Nathan Hunt. The Hunt family is trying to memorialize their son's life by adding his name to the National Armed Forces Memorial. And Harry said that he wishes that he could help the family had I been in the same role I was. And then he goes on to say in the letter, which features the Prince's logo, Harry writes, "I deeply empathize with what your family is going through, and so wish I could assist formally had I been in the same role I once was." This is one of those things. I can commend him, Harry, for wanting to help this family. We know that Nathan took his own life back in 2018. He had suffered from mental health issues from being in military service. And I think that was good for him to have that connection to this man who has suffered tremendously, and he took his own life. But I mean, I just think him saying that he wished he could have been able to help him in a more formal way had he been in the same role. It just kind of like, it's like putting it back on yourself, rather than keeping the message on the person, the family that you're trying to reach out to. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but that's just the first thing I thought, is like, learn to not make it about you all the time. Sometimes we have to not make it about us, although it can be easy to want to make it about us. Sometimes it's just not about us, and we have to put our focus on other people. And I think Harry needs to learn to do that more. Meghan Markle was snubbed for a second time by the Queen. Kate was able to get the earrings that are owned by the Queen, and she never lent the tiara to Meghan that was the Queen's. And this is the second time that Kate has been allowed to borrow something from the Queen, because the Queen feels like she can trust Kate. Kate does what she's supposed to do. She's a much more upstanding, follow the rules, play by the rules kind of a woman. Meghan is not, and there are consequences to that. We all know this. Meghan and Prince Harry issue warning to Kate William with a master plan. They have reportedly made warning shots against Prince William and Kate with their master plan announcement. This claim has been made by California-based brand and reputation manager Eric Schiffer. During his interview that he had with the Express UK, he was quoted as saying that William and Kate are highly aware of the master plan that Harry and Meghan have about appearing to be working in America and around the world. It has to be a warning shot about their own authority and soft power at this point in their own story. So you are going to see more work done by William and Kate, and it will connect issues more to young people. Usain Bolt, he is really upset, or not really upset, but just like in a fun way, I'm assuming, that he never got a chance to hang out with Harry when he was single. I mean, he's met Harry before when he was single, but I guess he never got to party with the man. But since meeting Harry and his wife, he says that Meghan is a nice girl and all these things. And this is the thing I wanted to bring up about this story. It's like, I know several people who have met Meghan Markle personally within the industry, other fellow actors. And they say that, oh, she's such a nice person. She's such a nice girl and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I'm sure a lot of people that are like not very good people are nice when you meet them on a one-to-one situation. But to really understand a person and their behavior, you need to look at, well, how do they treat other people? Prince Harry wades in on UK politics as Duke issues visa plea. Now, this was a good thing, I think, that Harry has done. Essentially, he's saying that there should not be a charge for people that served in the military who want to now relocate to the UK, and their cost to get their visa is over £2,000. I mean, my goodness, that is expensive. So I'm going to give Harry his props. Although I'm usually more critical of him, I think this is a good thing. I think people, that's a lot of money for a visa, especially if you've served in the military. I think you've earned your stripes to be able to at least not pay £2,000 for your visa. That's my personal opinion. So don't y'all be beating me up in the comments about me saying something that's my personal opinion. Okay, this is what I think. He has come under fire for recent comments about resignations benefiting mental health and prompting one royal commentator to claim the Duke isn't qualified to comment on the matter. And I can give you a reason why he's not qualified outside of the information I have about this story. Look at what happened with his wife. So his wife essentially was at the breaking point of almost taking her life. If that was the case, why his wife did not go to him? If he was somebody that could really understand mental health, or he was really there to support his wife, why didn't Meghan find support and solitude in her husband rather than feeling like, well, the royal family's HR department ain't gonna help me, I'm just gonna take my life? What? Like, come on now. You can't tell me that there's something shady about that. There's just something that don't stick. It don't seem right. Harry has been working in mental health with his brother and Catherine for years before Meghan came into the picture. Meghan comes into the picture. She's feeling suicidal. She doesn't get help from the HR department, from the royals, and Harry's nowhere to be found. And Meghan is at a breaking point and tells Oprah she felt suicidal. There's a delay in the BBC podcast that is going to have Harry and Meghan in it because of the barrage of complaints that happened during the BBC Two documentary, The Prince and the Press. So many people complained about the inaccuracies of that. The BBC had to put the brakes on that. They were like, hold up, we got to stop. We better not air anything now with Harry and Meghan because it was just too much to deal with. So they were supposed to have this podcast come out after this documentary aired, but The Sun reports that the BBC has delayed the podcast after receiving over 900 complaints about the 2-hour documentary about Prince William and Prince Harry, which was aired last month. Now, the program was also blasted by the royal households for giving credibility to overblown and unfounded claims. BBC spokesperson said that, as we have said very clearly before, the podcast is still in production and will be released as a box set when it's ready. Meghan's court ruling followed by new UK freedom of speech laws. On Tuesday, proposals for a new Bill of Rights will be unveiled by Justice Secretary Dominic Raab. Mr. Raab has said that the reforms will strengthen typically British rights and add a healthy dose of common sense, yes, to the interpretation of legislation and ruling. Writing in the Times, Mr. Raab added the bill would strengthen freedom of speech by replacing the court-innovated privacy law, and it will also emphasize that Parliament is the ultimate decision maker on legislation, not UK courts. The change comes following the result of a legal case between Meghan Markle and the Mail on Sunday. The Court of Appeal upheld a high court decision that the Duchess of Sussex had a reasonable expectation of privacy over a letter written to her estranged father, Thomas Markle, extracts of which were published by the paper. So speaking at the time of Meghan's ruling, the Justice Secretary said, I say here in quotes, the drift towards continental style privacy laws innovated in the courtroom, not by elected lawmakers in the House of Commons, is something we can and should correct. And I'm glad that is going to happen. Look at this girl. She done came over to the UK and then stirred up their laws, and everything is getting changed because of how badly she is behaving. Like, when we talk about what is going on with this woman, it's this American woman, mind you, as a woman of color in this country now as a foreigner, and how she is showing herself. She is behaving badly in so many ways that they getting ready to change laws, that people fighting. All kind of controversies is going on over there because of this woman. Like, she needs to be better. She needs to act better, okay? So we're just going to keep it real. We're going to keep talking about it, and we'll see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.